Okay, we're live. Welcome, Norik Koczarian here and NKTV. Today is very unusual interview I'm going to do because, as you know, by watching my previous interviews, I've always interviewed the elite athletes, talk to them about their mindset, about how they prepare, how they created the desire to become elite. Today I have one of the greatest people I've met in my life. And it's a pleasure to have him with me because at the time when I had the most difficulties, he sort of appeared from nowhere, introduced by one of my best friends, Daniel. And when I got introduced to Stevie, because we're gonna talk to Stevie today, and I thought, how can somebody change your life, or how can somebody, have so much impact? And this man just appeared from nowhere and become my mentor and led me to completely change my life by asking the right questions, by finding a passion in my life. And as I said, he became one of my first mentors and led me to where I am at the minute. But his journey to become my mentor was also sort of very encouraging. When he said a story of his life, I could not believe. I actually thought my life was a bit challenged before, but then I realized I'm not the only one. And he grabbed myself and said, shake it off and just move on. And when I started work with him, I decided to work with him full time someday. And it actually happened. He helped me out a lot. And one of my dreams was actually to sit and talk to him and interview and share all the story myself and him has in common. And today is accomplishment of one of my goals. He was with me when I set up my first event, and he never doubted on me. He never doubted on anybody else. But most important, he never doubts on himself, even through the challenging times. And I thought until a couple months ago that he won't be able anymore to surprise me with anything. Well, he did. Stevey McGeown, because that's who I'm talking about, is the incredible person with fantastic personality, drive to life, very inspirational, and he actually surprised me even more because he actually competed in Martins, not just a regular Martins. He decided to compete in 100 Martins in 100 days. And today I have fantastic opportunity, and I'm really grateful for your time, Stevie, to introduce you, because what you've accomplished, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of passion, a lot of desire, obviously determination and dedication to it, because it's time taken. Welcome, Stevie. How are you doing today?
Thanks very much, Norik. I'm blown away with that introduction, man. I really do appreciate it. I'm very humbled by your kind words there. So I am. Thanks very much, man. Thank you. Much appreciated. So it is.
You're very welcome, because it's one of those things when you introduce somebody, especially very special for you in your life, who had so much impact. It comes just natural, and it comes just through words and very special words. Let me just ask you a question, because when and you give me the idea that there is a life with a purpose. There is a life of achievement. Could you tell me how you keep your drive, your desire, and where did it started from? You know, and especially when you competed in marathon, how that desire became something so special for you. And obviously there was a challenges, and how you overtook it, and what keeps you going.
Well, it was funny you were speaking earlier on there, Norik. I can remember I remember the first time meeting yourself. So I do, and I always have great admiration for people that emigrate to different countries and take on new cultures and new languages and all of those challenges, you know. And I remember one of your first challenges. You were working nights at the time, and down in Belfast, you were working as a porter, and I remember you very vividly saying to me that one of the things that you really missed about about not having a day job, more having a night job, was bumping into people on the street. That you felt it was very lonely at night time, that you weren't bumping into people. And you said, I just loved to be bumping into people in the street. And I think at that time maybe you'd been working nights was maybe a year and a half or 2 years or something like that. Would that be correct?
Yeah, that's right.
I remember that. I remember that very vividly, and I remember connecting with you, and that you had a passion for people and talking to people, and you were so enthusiastic about it, you know. And that really struck a chord with myself. And anytime you see that, I just think, right, okay, how can I help this guy? Because this guy has got loads of potential. There's so many things he can do. You can see you can see you're very intelligent. You can see you're very smart. You can see you're organized. You can see you're passionate about life. You're enthusiastic. You're a sports person yourself. I know you've many accolades in the world of wrestling, and you know and you understand the discipline that it takes and the desire that it takes to achieve anything. So you're asking me a question here that I do know that you have the answers for within yourself. And I suppose with this particular challenge, with this particular thing that we done, run 100 marathons in 100 days, it was it's a passion to not only just achieve something, but also a desire to help people outside of yourself. You know, sometimes in life we can get very much caught up in our day to day and what's going on in our own lives and our own challenges, and we all do. Like, we all definitely do have challenges as human beings. We all have challenges, and I have many of them, just like everybody else, you know. But sometimes to see people outside yourself that have challenges that are more difficult than your own, and a desire to help, and in some or any small way at all, to make a difference, really, I suppose, to make a difference in people's lives, is a very special thing to be able to do. Even when you were speaking there, I was very humbled by your words, you know what I mean? And maybe you're crediting me with more, because it takes the person themselves still has to put the thing into action. You know, you can inspire somebody with words and inspire somebody with deeds, and somebody could be listening out there today and they could have a challenge. That could be their own challenge, could be their own 100 marathons or whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, you got to shake yourself and say, well, look, as a person, am I going to become smaller as a person, or am I going to become a bigger as a person? And I think my own desire to become bigger as a person, it's not there all the time, constantly all the time. I wish it was there every single Saturday moment, but we're all human beings, and there's times whenever, you know, I would need that bit of motivation and that bit of inspiration as well too. For me, it came from, I suppose, I felt that I'd lived for a long time as a small person. I felt that I was getting smaller as a person for many years, and I wasn't going beyond myself, and I wasn't growing, and I wasn't expanding, and for many years too, I just wished that I didn't live anymore, that it was dead for a long time. That's the truth. That's where I was at, and I got a new opportunity to live again, and I got my eyes opened and started to look around, and I started to embrace life again and see that there's lots and lots of things that you can do, and you can make a difference. And sure, why not? You're here, do what you can do, give it a go. The worst thing can happen is you don't succeed, but as I say, try and try again. Keep her lit. Yeah,
fantastic. Stevie, you said just incredible word, and I really appreciated what you said about myself. And it's incredible because when I set it up, when I decided to actually ask you for the interview, and first thing came up to my mind, it was yes, I'm doing it for the right reason, because I remember the day when I stood in the front of you and I told the story that what I'm dreaming about at that point, and that was the energy, the sound of the cars and the people and walking around, and you sort of looked at me and you said, people have big dreams and they thinking how to accomplish them. Your dream is so different, but it's so simple, but I can see it's very important. And I think those words, when you said that, it was sort of the appreciation, and it was the acceptance that, no matter what kind of goals you have, what kind of desire, when you decided to make a change, that's the right time.
Yeah.
And that's the time when you find the right person as well, because you're asking yourself questions. Yeah. You said you had to redirect yourself in some stage, because when you felt you're not growing, you give a great example that you actually felt like you died because this is one of the things that people might miss in their life or might not understand fully. And on those times, a lot of people would ask, how can you develop beliefs and the faith in yourself? Can you tell me something about that, about your faith, like even on the challenging times, how you believed that you actually can overtake it and do something better?
Yeah, absolutely. There's many things in it, and yourself that I've been teaching peak performance now for this last 7 or 8 years at this stage. And a lot of the things come down to whether it's you're doing a challenge, what like I'm doing, completing 100 marathons in 100 days, which is a long challenge, or you're competing at a very high level in sport, like what yourself would be, or in any martial arts or boxing or whatever it might be. It's always down to managing your emotional state of mind. It's down to managing your emotions, down to managing how you feel, because we all know at the base level, if we want to perform at our very, very best, we must feel at our best, and that is the key, most important thing. And there's three things that determine how you feel, and the three things that determine how you feel is, the first one is your physiology, how you hold your body, and your facial expressions, your eye movements. All those little things are vitally important. The other one is your language, which is your internal language and your external language. The things, particularly the things that you're saying to yourself constantly all the time, are vitally important. And the third thing is your focus, is what is your mind focused on. And anybody going through any challenges, or anybody looking to achieve any great thing, the most important thing, you mentioned beliefs there earlier on, the most important thing is that you're focused on the things that are going to help you continue on. So example, if I was to focus whenever I was running the marathons that, gosh, this is so hard, I've only got 10 done, I've got another 9 to do, it's going to be tough, it's going to be difficult, it's going to be hard, focusing on the pain, all those type of things. If you were focusing on those things, you'd make life so much harder for yourself, and your challenge so much harder for yourself. So the most important thing is to focus on the good stuff. Always focus on the good stuff. And your mind can only think of so many things at the one time. So no matter what it is that you're doing, or whatever goal that you're going to achieve, consistently all the time, put your mind back on the good stuff. Now, as you said to me earlier on, like I felt like dying. So basically my wish for many years was just the day to leave, and that's where my focus was. And you can imagine how tough your life is whenever your focus is like that, and the things that you're thinking about, you're focused on everything that's wrong with the world and everything that's wrong about yourself. And to change it just is a switch. It's a switch, and it can be the most difficult time to switch it at the beginning. But the simple switch is to switch your mind onto the things that you do have in your life. You know,
Be grateful.
Yeah, gratitude. Gratitude is the most transforming thing, and it can sound a bit very fairy and footery dootery, and especially if maybe you're not in the most greatest of form, you say, well, what have I got to be grateful for about? But focusing on the fact that you have two eyes, two ears, like there was days that I was out there, and I can remember in Phoenix Park, and I was on my own, I was by myself, and it can be lonely, and it can be raining, and it can be different stuff, and you're just out there doing your thing. And I remember one particular day I was running down there, I was going, oh jeez, this, I had a serious pain in the hinges, which is your hips. I had a serious pain in the hinges, and I was like, I was lamenting in my own mind. And then out of the corner of my eye, I seen a lady pushing a little boy in a wheelchair. And instantly, you get a slap up the side of the head and reminds you know what, you have the ability to do this. You have nothing to complain about. That child would love to have the ability to do this, would love to have the ability to walk, never mind run.
Yeah.
And it's those things that humble you and remind you that you're blessed, really,
Well, thank you so much for that, because what he actually said, it's incredible, because it actually leads to one of the questions I really wanted to ask you, and I'm pretty sure whoever will listen to this interview will be very interested. It's some kind of be used is the self-talk, auto-suggestion.
Yeah, apologize, Norik. My connection mustn't be wonderful. I just missed the last probably 20 seconds of that question. So just
Okay,
apologize.
sorry, I'll repeat it. No problem at all.
Yeah.
You said something very important there about when you've been left on your own, and even on a previous answer, you said about your inner talk and.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, just the line broke up again. Sorry, apologize about it.
But yes, I get your question. You're talking about the internal language and the internal dialogue that we have going on in our mind.
Yeah, it's the question is about it can be used as one of the tools, the self-talk, auto-suggestion.
Yeah.
My question is, how important is auto-suggestion when you're doing something very individual in your life? And what you said, there was an impact from sort of outside world as well, by seeing that child on a wheelchair, which obviously had you accepted it, and you sort of overtook the pain, overtook the doubt, overtook the difficulties by that, even because I remember the situation when I was at the Commonwealth Games last year, and when I wrestled and I lost my match, but then whatever happened after that was more important than even winning that gold or winning that competition. When I was on my way back, and they were sitting and cheering me for the competition. And on my way back home to Belfast, the lady came in to me and she said, "You know what? I remember you." Hello.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Sorry, think we have some challenges with the internet connection. Just finishing it off, and I'll get you to get the answer. And the lady came in to me and she said, "You know what? We were on a crowd when you came in to us, and you had a huge impact and inspiring my daughter to start a sport."
Yeah, and
this
I didn't get a lot. I didn't get a lot of that, Norik, to be
sorry,
honest with you. So if you
well,
just give the question, maybe about 10-second question.
The question is about your self-talk at that time, how important it is. It's one of your tools which you used, and you said how important it is to find on difficult times the right tools.
Self-talk is vitally important, and I know many times you reference Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's there you go. He has it there. Well, there's a story in that, and it talks about a banker who self-talked him into death. He just kept saying, "I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I can't live any longer," because something obviously went wrong with the banking system. I think it was back in the 30s. Dr. Joseph Murphy wrote a book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, and again, it's all about self-talk and things that you say to yourself. It's so important. If you think about it, if somebody was constantly talking you down and telling you that you're no good and you can't achieve something, and they're constantly badgering you all the time on this here, how is that going to make you feel? And how are you going to perform then? From that case, so you wouldn't put up with somebody else badgering you all the time with the wrong talk. So you shouldn't put up with yourself doing it. And I have a thing that it's you need to learn to become your very own best friend. Build yourself up with words rather than turn yourself down with words. If you think about it, the way we communicate to ourselves is with words, and their importance is vital. Every single solitary word carries an energy, and whatever you're saying to yourself internally, inside and externally, you're consistently programming your mind. So you're either programming yourself to feel good and to do better, or you're programming yourself to not. So I'd say it's vitally important. Just an example in the case of the marathons, how important the proper self-talk was whenever we're doing the marathons. For example, obviously you'd feel pain, particularly in the first 10 days, you get through the most pain. So someone could have a pain in their leg, and that pain in their leg could become a strain, which could become a tear, which could become whatever, and in your mind it could stop you, prevent you from going on. One of the things that I done was if I felt any pain, it became I call it a nigglet. So it wasn't even a niggle, so it became the pain to be of a niggle in the left leg, and then the niggle would be like, no, it's a nigglet. So a nigglet is even less than a niggle, and then obviously it's gone. You know what I mean? So it would be down to that level of detail. A lot of people would have said to me after I got a lot of marathons done, say we're in around the 20 or whatever, they said to me, you're a machine, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't accept that as you're a machine. I would say they're meaning well, but in my mind, I would be, no, I'm not a machine, because a machine breaks down. Whereas the human body has the ability to rejuvenate and repair constantly all the time. It constantly has the ability to rejuvenate and repair. And someone that doesn't believe that the human body has the ability to rejuvenate and repair, well, they would have great challenges being able to complete a task like 100 marathons in 100 days. Whereas I myself completely convinced that the human body rejuvenates and repairs itself. So therefore, your most natural state is a state of health, and is a state of well-being. And the other things that I told myself would be, with self-language, would be, this is a holiday. It's an adventure. I'm going to meet new people. I'm going to meet new friends. I'm going to be in new places. I'm going to be outside every day. I love being outside running every single day. You know what I mean? I'm going to be fitter and healthier than I've ever been in my entire life. All these different types of things. And again, even when I was running, it would be words like, if I felt myself running, saying, okay, I'm going to run down this avenue here, I'm going to run down here hard, I would remind myself, no, I'm not going to run down hard, because if you do anything hard, you get hurt. When you do anything hard, you get hurt. So instead of going hard, I'm saying, right, okay, I'm relaxed, efficient. And if I wanted to be fast, I go relaxed, efficient, fast, light, strong. And I'd be constantly with these things: relaxed, efficient, fast, light, strong. Because if I'm relaxed, it's very hard to injure your body when you're relaxed, because you're relaxed. And if you're efficient, well, you're using the best of your body. Everything's working easier. Everything's simpler. You know what I mean? If you're light, it's lighter on your feet. I would even talk it to the level of, I got a great tip from a guy that had done a race with. It was a 24-hour race I done back in March. And I got a great tip from him. And he says, anytime you're getting it tough, Stevie, just tap away, keep tapping away. So, you're tapping away. As your feet, just keep tap away, tap away. So I took that level of tap away, and I changed tapping away to tipping away. So tapping to tipping, because tipping's later. Do you know what I mean? And just all these little... Sorry, Norik, I just couldn't hear.
Making it more easier for yourself to...
Exactly. Constantly making it easier yourself through language. And if you think about emotions, and you think about feelings and emotions they're ignited by words. So what's the difference in someone saying, okay, I'm feeling really happy, or I'm feeling absolutely over the moon? What's the difference? The difference is the words and the way that you use them.
Yeah.
And that's it. What's the difference in somebody having, it was okay of a time, or somebody having a great time? It was a great time. Do you know what I mean? It's the way you use the words, the way you talk to yourself, the way you talk to other people, and you program yourself to feel like that. So it starts off by asking, how do you want to feel? Or you can start off by saying, how do you want to perform? So how do you want to perform? So if you want to perform at your peak, or you want to perform even better, well then you're gonna have to feel a certain way. So how do you need to feel in order to perform like this? You know what I mean? So how do you need to? So if you need to feel enthusiastic, if you need to feel energized, if you need to feel excited, if you need to feel motivated, if you need to feel that you're in the right place at the right time, then what do you need to be thinking about? What do you need to be speaking about? What do you need to be saying to yourself? And
that's great, because it gives me absolutely fantastic experience, that what I've been doing with my preparation for the competitions, for everything I do in my life, is that the right thing I'm doing, and as I said on the very start when I introduced you, you had so much impact that I still use it, and I implement it with myself and with people I work with. It's funny how it turned out, because a lot of those things wasn't understandable by my family on the start, and now they sort of starting to see what the outcome was of all that, but one of the most important things was, and I started understanding myself. How important, in your opinion, is to understand your goals and to understand where you want to go and why you want to be?
Yeah, it's very important, because there's when your mind's opened up, there can be so many opportunities. There can be so many places to go. There can be so many different things that you want to do. But I think it's very important to go with what you feel in your heart, and not just what's in your head. When your head and your heart combine together, it's so much easier to achieve your goals. But you got to go with what's in your heart. What it means in your heart is what you feel. I know you know you yourself, Norik, and you were the national wrestling champion for many years, and then you parked that for some time. But you remember you communicating to me, and it was in your heart that you wanted to compete in the Commonwealth Games. It was a goal for you, and such a big goal it is to compete on the world stage, and you achieve that goal. But like, you could have went against it. You could have went with your head in your head, might have said, well, look, I should be focused on other things. I can't do that. I need to be focused on making money and doing this and all these different things. But you went with your heart, and the world needs more people like that. People to go with what they feel within themselves. Because if you don't go with what you feel within yourself, then you're not being yourself. And what is the purpose of living? The purpose of living is to be yourself, and is to go out further and discover who you are and what you're capable of, and go with what you feel and the things that are important to you in your life. And so many times we can be programmed into living a robotic existence and not stepping outside ourselves and going for those things. But at the end of the day, whenever you get to 60, 70, 80 years of age, are you going to regret having not give it a go? You probably will. And every day that you don't go for it, you're dying inside. You know what I mean? Like, so sometimes you could say, well, how do I know what to go for? How do I know what to do? How do I know that it's going to work out? Thing is, you never know whether something's going to work out or not. But if you feel it's within you that you need to do it and you need to get it out, then you absolutely, totally, utterly must go for it. And that again is why that self-talk, as you mentioned earlier on, is so vitally important. If you doubt that, watch something on television, like, EastEnders or something like that. Watch something that's got very negative talk in it. Watch it and see how you feel after it. And then listen to something that's positive and something that builds you up with talk, and see how you feel after that. As I said to you earlier on, I have an audio if anybody wants. It's very simple audio. It lasts about 30 minutes. It's called New Reality, and it's all positive self-talk. And you repeat the words after me. I know yourself and Daniel would have done it, and you repeat the words after me as you're saying it with enthusiasm and passion. And I recommend people do that 30 minutes a day. It'll absolutely change your life completely, totally, utterly change your life for the positive. It'll build you up and help you to go for those things. You're never going to succeed in every single salary thing that you take on. You're never going to achieve every single salary goal, and if you are achieving every single salary goal, then your goals aren't big enough. Life isn't just about achieving things. Life's about a journey. It's about, as you said, discovering more of who you are yourself and sharing that with other people. And as you go for what it is that you want to go for, you automatically inspire other people. Like, I'm sure you inspired hundreds and probably thousands of other people by going and achieving your goal of competing in the Commonwealth Games. That's what it's about. That's life. To me, that's life. Anything else isn't. Everything, most other things, when you're not going for stuff that you want to go for, or growing or expanding or being yourself, most other things are just monotonous. The juice of life is doing it. You know what I mean?
It's great what you actually said right now, because it leads to something I've always, before a few years ago, I was questioning myself, because there was situations when I won the fight and I wasn't happy with it. And there was a time when I actually lost the fight and I felt absolutely great. When I got into the point that I wanted to understand it, and one of the situations when I started understanding it was on one of the seminars I've actually attended of yours, when I did the firewalk.
Yeah, see your certificate behind you there.
Yeah. And I remember the situation because when we created that anchor move and just going yes, 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 all that. I remember there was a lady standing in the front and taking the photos, and I was so focused on just doing it that when I finished, I was like, did I actually do that? Yes, yes, yes. And did she take a photo of that?
Yeah.
And I wasn't happy with my performance, even as I done it, which was accomplishment, a big, big, massive accomplishment in my life. And I done it again.
That's right. I remember that.
And I know it wasn't exactly the same thing that you're doing it for the first time, but it was something bigger. Because I remember when I said that to you, I'm going to do it again because I forgot if I've done this. You said, you're mad, you're crazy, but obviously in a positive way. And I was like, yeah, that's really who I want to be. Like really, really energetic, really just going and doing things like, before I thought I can't do. And that was amazing. And then I remember after one of the fireworks as well, when I told you a story of my life, which before I thought it was a failure and disappointment. And when I saw your reaction to it, it was just amazing. I remember when I finished, you didn't say anything. You looked at me, but as you know yourself, the communication only about 7% are words. Most of the things comes from reaction, from the energy you get out of it. And I actually felt that I accomplished something bigger than ever.
Yeah.
And it was same thing at the Commonwealth Games. I lost my fight, but as you said, I inspired a lot of people, and I hope so, because that was a bigger goal. Because a lot of times we're focused on small things, on what's going to happen right now. Okay, I want to win something, but then we don't see the whole outcome of it. What can it lead it to?
Yeah.
And I think when I came back from the games, it led to something bigger, because when I went for the training session and there was young guys, they were so excited that they didn't care about the result. They were so excited that there's somebody there who competed at that level, that that means for them, they can reach it. And when I understood that, it meant more than anything. Bob Proctor said before that if you think your goal is small enough, think how you can actually impact other people. Because you know yourself, when you impact more and more people, you become more successful.
Yeah,
Stevie,
it's true. And you're sometimes when if you're looking to achieve something, or it can be so self-centered, focused.
Yeah,
it takes the joy away from it. And I've noticed this in my life, whenever you become self-centered focused, and that could be self-centered focus as what am I doing, what am I achieving, or what are they writing about me, or whatever it is in the paper, or this, it becomes small. You become small when you do that. But whenever you're centered around other people, it's bigger. It's
absolutely.
It's bigger than yourself, and that's where all the joy is. And that is one of the things between achievement and enjoying the journey. I know, like, I've achieved goals before in my life, big goals before in my life, and different things. And you've achieved big goals. There's lots of people out there have achieved big goals, and sometimes they achieve the big goal, but to get there and then they'll be like, is that it? You know, they don't feel it. You don't feel the joy in it. But the joy in it is always, it's always outside of yourself. It's looking, as you said, like inspiring them kids, because you got to that level competing at the Commonwealth Games. You're probably maybe tucking your head down going, oh, I didn't win gold or whatever it is, but you're coming back there, and to those guys, you're a hero, you're an inspiration. And to look and see the joy in their face, even to be able to make you and shake your hand and maybe, you know, train with you and stuff, that is really where the spirit and the joy is. You know, in the personality at times, it's not there, because the personality or the small self can be so consumed with what is it that I've achieved, or what is in this for me, or, you know, and whenever it's self-centered, the joy isn't there. It has to be centered towards other people, I believe.
Would you agree that everything, starting from making, you know, setting up yourself a goal, up to starting, as you said, the journey, because it's not just one pit stop, like, you know, you do something and that's it. Everything like that starts from making yourself a decision.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And the decision comes when, most of the times, when you go into some kind of pain, that doesn't have to be physical pain. Then that's the time when the most important decisions appear in your life. And if you want to make a change, that's the best time. Would you agree with that?
To a large extent, yes. That's the way a lot of it can happen. Human beings are motivated by two things. Human beings are motivated to move away from pain, and they're also motivated to move towards pleasure. But you'll find, or what I found in the studies of other people, and also in the self, it's quite often some of the most important decisions come in your life whenever you're going through temporary pain. So if anybody's out there going through temporary pain or despair, don't worry. You're getting to a place where you're going to make a good decision. You're going to make big decisions. Yeah, I definitely would agree with that, Norik. And I think sometimes it can be like a kick. It's like, you know, everything's always about growth and expansion. And I suppose, you know, if you believe in God or whatever it is, maybe it's God giving you a kick and giving you enough pain so that you will make the decisions. So sometimes we can be lazy, you know what I mean? Our minds can be lazy, you know, mine can, and it may not make a decision until you're pushed into the corner, you know what I mean? And you have to. And you have to change, you know what I mean? It's great when you're fully aware and you're going through them things, and you recognize things, and you can see where you do have to change and you do have to move forward, and you do those things. But quite often, it can be down to the level of pain, even or dissatisfaction. Maybe is probably a better word to use. Dissatisfaction, I suppose. If you look at all the inventions, the great inventions we have, like the motor car. Somebody invented the motor car because they were dissatisfied and they were sick and tired of having the sore ass from riding a horse. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so these type of things, like all these things that have been invented have been there because somebody was dissatisfied with current situations. Caveman was dissatisfied with sitting on the ground, so he invented a chair. You know,
you said a really good thing about it. You know, it's like Jim Rohn said, don't be waiting until something gets easier. You get better.
Yeah.
To be able to do it, you have to be a persistent person.
Yeah, and I believe definitely persistence, and 100%. But the remarkable thing is that's why it's important to do the things that you love and go for goals that are in your heart, because you don't have to think about persisting then. You just automatically do, because that's what you want to do. And if you pick something that's in your head and you think to yourself, right, okay, I can make a lot of money doing that, and this would be really good and stuff, that's good. Do you hit challenges? But do you love it enough to stick at it, even when it's hard? Do you love it enough? And if you love enough to stick at it, even when it's hard, then you will persist on it because you love it, because it's of your heart. And I think persistence, I'm more and more convinced that persistence is an automatic thing. And it's not so much that, like, quite often I have people saying to me, how can I discipline myself to be able to do this? It must take an incredible discipline to run 100 marathons in 100 days, to get up every single Saturday day and go out there and run 26.2 miles. That must take an incredible amount of discipline. But if I would say, if my mind had been in discipline, I would not have been able to do it. My mind could not be undisciplined, because to me, discipline is a hard thing. Is it putting myself under something that I have to do, that, and it can't be about having to do it. You gotta want to do it. You gotta want to do it, and find a way of wanting to do whatever it is that you want to do. Find a way of associating the positives towards completing it, and not putting yourself under that pressure. Because when you put yourself under that pressure, it's hard. It can be difficult, it can be hard. And whenever anything is hard, remember, when it's hard, you get hurt. You know what I mean? When it's hard, you get hurt. And physically, but getting hurt emotionally is tough. Is tougher. And you will do, but it's always better, I feel, to do the things that you love to do, because then whenever it does get tough, things always get tough. There's no point in saying don't. These things are always tough at different times. It's easier to continue. It's easier to continue. And don't just hold on. And there's no point in just holding on to things and persisting in something just because you say, I'm a persistent person. Because that sometimes can be like the fly trying to fly through the window. You know what I mean? Being persistent, bang, 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 bang. Hitting the window all the time.
Exactly, yeah.
That's no point. Be aware. Be aware. Be aware. Be still. And wait. Do you feel it? If you're not in the best form or the best mood, you're not going to feel it anyway. Don't make any decisions whenever you're not in the good mental state. And we all have times whenever we're not in a good mental or emotional state. Don't make any decisions at that time. Do things to make yourself feel better first.
Yeah.
And then make the decision. Make the decisions from a level place.
Stevie, you said you blew me out. You blew me away, like with with that answer about it. It's something where a lot of people is sort of put it for granted. Persistence. If you have persistence in your life and you're persistent, that's me done. I can achieve whatever. And a lot of times it's misunderstood. Persistence and actually the passion, the love, as you said, the understanding how much that action, that who you want to be, what you want to have is important for you, and to have the bigger overview. Yeah. And as you said, a lot of times you were left over by yourself when you were running, but this is something I want to know, and I'm hoping like it will help as well a lot of listeners to this. How important is to have a great team of people and people around yourself, which can be part of the team as well, and help you out to grow.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important to have other people around you. No man or woman is an island. You know what I mean? Nobody is separate from anybody else. It's very important to have people around you that support you, or even people around you that are also going for things, going for goals, challenging themselves. Because you automatically, if you're around someone else and they're challenging themselves and they're going for a particular goal, it automatically inspires you. Like like this, this goal of 100 marathons, 100 days was brought to me by Larry McGuire, and we set up the foundation, and it was in honor of his sister Laura, who died when she was 7 years of age. And whenever Larry shared the idea with me, it automatically inspired me, So I didn't come up with this idea on my own, and that was actually one of the 3-day seminars that we do that he came along and he shared that idea, and he shared that vision. And then even along the journey, we met people, that were very inspirational. Like, it's guys that have done, like I met a guy called Peter First that had done 500 marathons over his last 30 years. And another guy called Ogie Winters that didn't start running until he was 55, and he's completed almost 150 marathons in his last 3 years, And like, I would have been very much in the background. I only started running about 2 years ago, and I've been very much in the background. But when I met these people, they don't have to say to you can do it. You don't even have to have a conversation with them, although I've had many conversations with them since. You don't have to. All you have to do is hear that, see that, and then what it says to you, it says, yeah, I can do this too. Like we have a club there called the Head Achievers. The Head Achievers Club is a club of business owners and entrepreneurs, and we share information and we help each other. But I feel the most important thing is the fact that every month we come into a room and you're hearing how somebody succeeded that month.
Absolutely. And
if you're constantly hearing how somebody has succeeded or someone has done something, it's gonna rub off. It's gonna influence you, in a big way. So I think it's really, really important. I love hearing about the people succeeding. Even in a simple way, if you were building a new house, like we're going to build an extension sometime onto our own house here, and if you're building a new house or you're building an extension onto your house, wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to go into all the people's houses that have built new houses and look at the nice things that they've bought and look at the nice decorations that they have and see the way that they're doing it, because then that imprints onto your mind and you get the ideas and you're around that. And it's like anything that you do, you're training yourself, Norik, for wrestling. Like the guys, I see you interviewed Conor McGregor as well in one of your interviews and that as well too. Like, and the training, like you're training with people that are at their best and that are doing the best, and that inspires you and it rubs off. And I'd also say this too, like I would get inspired by people. It doesn't have to be, the person doesn't have to be at the top of their field. They don't have to have done 500 or 600 marathons. I would get inspired by seeing a person that maybe having a difficult time and they're just starting out, but they're determined that they're going to do it. Like maybe the person that's out there and they run their first marathon for the first time, they're 3 stone overweight, and they take them 5 or 6 hours and they're back of the pack. That really inspires me, because it's not about being the best. It's about giving it your best,
Stevie, I'm gonna put it up as the last question, and this is a question I've been asking even myself, and it's really, really a question about what helped you and what still helps you, if it still is in your life, to be where you are and to be who you are.
This is a good question.
What was the most important thing?
To be who you are, is it? What's the most important thing? To be who you are.
What was the most important thing to be who you are at the minute and still helps you, or it's still important for you?
I think that what's most important is to be yourself and to live and to live your own values, to live the values that you have for yourself, and that's not always the easiest way, but it's the most satisfying way.
Absolutely.
I would say. There's times whenever, you know, there's different things you can do, or you can make things easier in a different way. But I think if you live by your own values, and if you can say at the end of the day, well, look, you know, I might not get everything right, but you know, I went for it, and I done it, and I grew as a person, and I helped other people grow, and because you were here, you made a positive difference to people's lives. I think that there really is important, you know.
Stevie, I'm truly honored to have you on this interview, and really, really grateful for your time, and for the shares, and I'm really really inspired, like as I said, for your accomplishment, and I'm really hoping you understand what you've achieved, you know, and I really hope this will have also huge impact in yourself and the people you're surrounded with, and the people who will hear this video, because when I saw I remember when I saw I think it was your seventh Martin, and there was that moment when you had seven Martin done and dusted, 93 to go. And most of the times you meet people or you hear people, oh, you know, will sort of will see that site, oh, here there's still 93 to go. But then when you get to that mode, when this becomes your life of way of being, and you just measure in it just to see your progress, your growth, as you said, very important thing, to grow as a person. And after a couple weeks, when I saw, like, you know, when you had already 75 and 25 to go, I was like, wow, that's incredible. You know how the numbers, they're only in the numbers, and if you focus on the, you know, the smaller bit, you're not gonna see, you know, what you already achieved.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, wow, there has to be so many challenges, and you know, on a daily basis, we focus on our own challenges, and we don't understand there's other people having they challenges, and we think it's only us. But the way you overtook it, the way you've achieved it, and the way you have a time for myself, for people who will listen to this video, is incredible. I'm really thankful for that, Stevie, and I'm really hoping this will have a huge impact, and I'm pretty sure there will be a great feedback about your shares, and thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Norik. I really appreciate you having me on there, man. So and I'd say if anybody's interested in any of those audios or whatever, if you can stick my email up there, it's ask@askstevie.com. Suppose you can put this race bell, and people can contact her if they're interested or whatever, and they can get it, you know.
I think it would be great if you can actually you know, send me even a message with the post where they can put it in, and I will with the upload in a video, I will put that information on, which will be absolutely great, because I'm sure a lot of people would love to listen more about yourself and what you do and where you are, and you know, just to, as you said, just to grow.
Yeah, really appreciate that, Norik. Thanks very much, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much, Stevie, and have a great day, and I really appreciate your time.
No bother, buddy. Cheers, man. Ciao.
You rock, buddy.
Ciao. Keep it.